Hello and welcome to week 1 of pack 9 of the Cigar Professor. It's unbelievable. It has clocked over 2 years that we've been doing this together, and what a fantastic time it has been for the last 2 years on a Friday night. But as you're aware, don't pinch yourself. It is not Friday night. It is Wednesday night. We are now moving to a Wednesday night by viewer demand. You guys all told us that Wednesday is the night of the week that you've got the least amount on. So we thought we would be thoughtful and courteous and generous and give up our time on a Wednesday night to come and spend it with you guys, just so you had something good to do on a Wednesday night. So, as I mentioned in the post for the link of this video, Topher's off gluing himself to art objects before he moves out of Victoria for one last time. And as a result, tonight's show is going to be myself and Omar. So hang on, that's not Omar. Actually, it doesn't look anywhere near as good as Omar. Hang on, I recognize that shirt. That's Topher. What the heck?
What?
Topher!
Hey,
Hey!
what? No, I didn't drop the baby. I didn't do it. It wasn't me. Oh,
What are you doing?
Hi. Hey, how are you? Sorry,
I didn't think you were going to be here. You in the man cave escaping the baby or something.
Yeah. So my wife's in the hospital, and I'm supposed to be at like the in-laws' house and stuff, and I'm at my house. I don't remember how I got here. I don't know. Everything's fuzzy in the days after a baby is born. It all just gets a bit weird.
I've been there a few times myself, so.
But I'm here, so I just thought, if I'm going to have a midlife crisis and a mental breakdown, I might as well do it on live television,
Well, that sounds like a plan. Might as well make Wednesday nights memorable. But speaking of the man himself, that's starting to look more and more like Santa Claus every day. Or at least Santa Claus was a very, very deep suntan, I should say.
What's happening, boys?
You're giving Sam a run for his money with a beard like that.
We're getting there, brah. We're getting there. So what's happening with Topher? Topher, did you have a cesarean?
Not personally, no, I didn't.
I was going to say you look really good for someone who had cesarean 2 days ago.
Yeah, that's that would be true. That would be true. It was my wife took one for the team, and she's the one that had the cesarean.
Wait. I've never actually identified you as a male. What?
Well, look, you got to take it one day at a time these days. Today I am identifying as a male.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was my wife that did the hard work, and she's recovering, and I get to do the easy job. But it is still it's still draining. So forgive me if I'm a little bit spaced out today. It's been a long couple of days, and I'm looking forward to this cigar.
So you're just going to pretend to be Omar on this episode, in other words.
Basically, yes. I'm going to be sitting here, and you're going to be wondering if I'm just sitting really still or if the internet is frozen.
Well,
that would mean I have to talk so much shit with Damo to replace you.
You will.
You're right. That's a terrible idea. I won't do that.
Actually, the band's actually loose on my stick tonight, which I'm actually quite thrilled about. Just slides straight off, which is excellent. Now, just a word of warning to our subscribers joining us tonight, or if you're watching this show at a later stage and lighting up, this cigar has been in my possession for around 30 months.
Yes.
And with that amount of age, Gurkhas are renowned with age for their wrappers to becoming thin and brittle. So you might want to treat this with a little bit of TLC tonight, just because the wrapper's probably a little bit more on the fragile side than what it was just over 2 years ago when we smoked it.
Now, can I just say, though, the good news is if yours does turn out to have a cracked wrapper and it's a bit of a dud, what you can do is just go out to the backyard and follow the dog around for a little while, because pretty soon they're going to give you something that looks very, very similar, right? You just pop that wrapper on it. All right. Pop that wrapper on it, and no one would ever know the difference. It did smell a bit barnyard, I got to admit. A little bit barnyard, a little bit manure. This one, on the other hand,
So if anyone hasn't seen a pigtail before, if you look at the end of the cigar, which you really can't see on my camera all that well.
No, Damo, it's like you haven't done this before.
No, I haven't.
I let you drive, and you just forget that you've got all these other
There
buttons.
we go. Oh, it's basically, instead of capping the end of it, they actually roll the wrapper into a long thread, twist it around, and that is called a pigtail. Now, theoretically, you should be able to grab the pigtail, twist it, and pull it off. But given the fact that this brand has a reputation of becoming thin and brittle on the wrapper with age, I'm not going to try risking that tonight to show you. I'm actually just going to go with a straight cut and see how we go.
Yeah, ditto.
Now,
Not worth the risk.
Cut isn't enough. It took the pigtail off because I've got the perfect cutter. It can't go through. So I'm probably going to take a second cut just to get that cigar open.
Now, really, really, really important note that we need to say right from the outset. Do not be put off if your draw is tight. Don't keep cutting thinking that if you just cut off a bit more, you'll get a better draw. You won't. The other end is almost closed.
Yes, so that will open up as it heats. But that first cut that I did literally took the pigtail off, and there was still a tobacco leaf over the end of my cigar when I did that first cut. So that's why
I agree. I had the same thing. I'm just saying for those that are drawing on it and trying to check the draw, you can't. You cannot check the draw on something that's got a closed end like this until after you've lit it up. And you'll find in the first 3 minutes of smoking this, the draw is going to open up all the way.
Yep, that's right.
All right. Let's see what 2.5 years has done to this.
Yeah, it was never a bad stick. It's always a good stick, so you could only imagine, huh?
Well, you're a bit of a Gurka fanboy, so...
Look, I don't mind them. I don't appreciate their price tag that is attached to it. I think they're overpriced. That's my only problem with them.
Look, I'm definitely not a Gurka fanboy, but I will defend this cigar. That is a hill I'm willing to die on. This cigar is a good cigar.
Did you say you're not a Gurka fan?
Respect my pronouns.
Sorry, mate. Sorry, I just want to double check it.
Very toasty and nutty straight off the cuff. Tiny bit of pepper in there.
Now, it's worth noting, you just light the tip. Okay? And then you let the flame follow its way down the shoulder and onto the actual, the full width of the cigar. You don't try and light the entire end of the cigar. You will ruin it.
Oh, my God. This is beautiful. It just opened up with toasty, like bakery, sweet bakery.
Yeah.
Toasty, light spice. I wouldn't say sweet cigar. It's a super sweet. Wow. And the foot smoke. Oh, thanks. That has done wonders in aging, mate.
That foot smoke is actually almost like incense, isn't it?
That is beautiful.
The long finish on that for me is a bit hay-like as well. A bit of straw hay notes in there. And
there was a bit of straw on the nose, not old mulchy straw, but also not fresh. It was in between those two, and I agree with a little bit of spice, and that's consistent with what it was. What, a year and a half ago? Actually, no, because this was in pack 1, wasn't it? So it was nearly 2 full years ago, and you've had them for 30 months, 2.5 years.
Wow.
And I tell you what, they impressed me back then, but this is even better now.
Oh,
I'll tell you what, that foot smoke. My goodness, I would actually have this burning as a stick of incense. That foot smoke is so pleasant.
Wow.
That is actually quite, for me, it's got quite a perfume note to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Potpourri. It's not the same aroma as potpourri, but it has that same effect for me.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Put it this way. You'd want to be very careful wearing a fragrance that smells like this around Omar.
You're not wrong.
He'd be crawling over broken glass, barbed wire, and hot coals.
Yeah.
He might even be willing to compete with Nick Perdomo for you there, Damo. Thank you, Tim. We'll make sure we check it out.
Oh, wow. It's beautiful. What's a drink of choice today, boys?
I am doing a black Earl Grey.
Oh,
I
wow.
figured something lighter and more floral would pair with this, which is a good choice.
Yeah.
And then I've also just got a sugar-free cola just to wet the whistle in between.
Boys, you guys heard it correct. First time in Cigar Professor. The whole thing about myself adding like 300 to 145 grams of cream in a cup of coffee or tea has completely changed.
Damo, is it just me, or do you feel like there's a setup going on here?
No, I'm being serious.
You feel like we're being set
Hang
up
on.
here?
I've got to look at his eyes. He's
Because I
trying
feel
to
like
read
we're being
his
set
body.
up here.
Yeah.
Getting my
He's looking
hopes
a bit.
up.
He's got the shifty look in his eyes there. See that little
Yeah.
subliminal squint? Yeah,
Yeah.
something's coming.
Now, today, I think it was only 90 grams I've calculated. So I've got 2 cups. It's only 90 something grams. There's a lot of tea in there.
You're a new man. What brought this on?
Lack of the supply, dude. I'll be honest with you.
I thought it might have been like realizing that you needed to grow up and actually become a man or something like that. But no, I had my hopes up too high. Just lack of supply.
So if I was you, I wouldn't be saying that with that face. That face. That's nothing.
There's a
That's
ring in
not
there
a
already.
My face is so perfect that I don't have to cover it with hair, and even God agrees because he didn't give me hair to cover it with.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. For it's perfect. For it or there, it's a perfect face. It's beyond perfection, matter of fact.
Mm-hmm. Did you know, Damo, that Omar always carries a bomb with him every time he flies on a plane? Did you know that?
Yeah.
No, but not for the reasons you think. He's a very, very clever man. You see, I got talking with him about this. I said, listen, isn't that really, really dangerous, like to have a bomb on a plane? He said, well, no, obviously not. I'm not going to blow it up. I'm not an idiot. I'm not going to kill myself and everybody else on the plane. Like, come on. I'm just bringing the bomb with me. I said, well, what's the point then if you're not going to blow it up? He said, well, statistically, there's about a 1 in 2 million chance of someone bringing a bomb on a plane. But what are the odds of there being 2 different people that brought bombs? Statistically nearly impossible. So he's protecting himself. He's protecting himself by being the one that brings the bomb on the plane, and he's not going to blow it up.
I love it. Got to admit, can't fool that logic.
It's flawless.
It's amazing.
You know, Omar was actually teaching how to do suicide bombing. Actually, I saw this video online, Omar, and he walked into the classroom. He had the bomb strapped to his chest, and he said, "All right, students, pay close attention. I'm only going to show you this once."
But from my memory, I have very specific classification who watches a video. To watch that video, you have to be a man. So I don't know if you watched it or someone sent you a
someone took a screen grab and put it on TikTok.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, got it.
Well, harsh. Listen, I'm drinking supermarket Coles black tea because it is honestly 4 cents a bag, but it is honestly my go-to pairing for an afternoon evening cigar.
Right.
In the morning or in the early afternoon, I'll have a brew coffee. But if it's after about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, supermarket black tea, so good.
I was saying to someone that I like all my high quality organic stuff, but when it comes to black tea, dude, the supermarket yellow label, it's not bad at all. It does the job every time. The supermarket yellow label will do the job no matter what.
That's what I'm on. And I also have a 2021 Shiraz from Heathcote. Can't remember the brand because that's what I was having with dinner and I hadn't run out of it. So that is my drink pairing for tonight, gentlemen.
Ooh. Boys, I'm with
the
Daniel.
spread of flavors out of this cigar, I think almost anything would go with this tonight. I'm almost getting a coffee note on the finish there too. Just a very subtle, dry, dark coffee, right on the back of the throat.
I will say the Shiraz is probably a little bit overpowering for it. It's probably a bit too subtle for a Heathcote Shiraz. So I'll probably be taking very small sips of that as we go along tonight.
Beautiful stick.
Every bit as good as I remember and more.
Well,
What a stick.
it hasn't suffered from aging.
Do you happen to remember what these were in proximity to while they were aging? Was it Maduros? Were they in with Connecticut's?
Yes.
Overall-
Hang on, I've got the humidor in my head there. So, to the sides of them were the Alec Bradley Magic Toast and the Room 101 Lonsdales.
Okay, yep.
Diagonally across from them are the Ave Maria Immaculata Bellicoso. And then in front of, they're against one side of the humidor, and then in front of those, what was there? Changed around a little bit, but I think I mostly had the Ave Maria Morningstar 5-pack, which had the 5 different cigars in the one little pack, sample pack. So in there was a Connecticut, a natural, sun-grown, a couple of Maduros.
Yeah. So have you seen the more recent Sherlock Holmes movies with Benedict Cumberbatch?
The Alona Holmes ones? With Alona Holmes, or you're talking that recent or before that?
I don't know. They were the ones with Benedict Cumberbatch. No, the TV show. Sorry, Sherlock, the TV show is what I'm talking about. Sorry.
Oh, not the TV show. No, only the movies.
So the American Sherlock, the TV show, which, it took me a little while to get into, but I did enjoy it. And they did this whole big thing around mind palaces, where people would have like this mental place where they could just remember anything and everything, and they could go into their mind palace, and it was all laid out, and all the memories were placed on shelves in this imaginary place, blah, blah, blah. I just want to point out that Damo's mind palace is entirely occupied by his humidor. He can just sit there and mentally he can go into his humidor.
Well, when you want a specific cigar, I know exactly where to go in the humidor to find it. Put it that way.
Yeah. And if there is a single leaf of tobacco out of place, somehow the hairs on the back of his neck will just stand up and he will know.
Now you know why Omar wants to get into my mind.
Hey, the rest of your body is being taken over by Uncle Perdomo, so I'll stick to mine.
I was going to say, Damo, I think you mispronounced pants, but anyway, I'll leave that between you and him.
This has been beautiful, man, honestly.
Well, if you're watching tonight, give us a shout out, because this is the first time we've switched across to the Wednesday. Obviously, depending on the platform that you're on, it'll show you different numbers and blah, blah, blah. Ignore all of that, because people are watching on YouTube, they're watching in the Facebook group, they're watching in Twitter, and they're watching in the Facebook page. So it's all different. But if you're watching, give us a shout out. Just write a comment in wherever you're watching, and we'll be able to see it here. Let us know where you're watching from, and we'll see if it's the usual suspects, or if anyone new has been able to join us because we're on a Wednesday night. Balin's chimed in. Let me get that up on the screen. There you go. Hey, fellas. Hey, Balin. How are you?
Hey.
He's on Facebook. He's in Adelaide in South Australia. Welcome, mate.
Welcome. What a beautiful place.
Simon, you are on Facebook. I can tell by the little logo in the corner of your comment there.
Boys, Simon has no doubt, apart from obviously, you got Stuart. It's always, Tim, Stuart, and the usual people, Daniel. But his contribution, Simon's contribution as well, is phenomenal lately. Absolutely phenomenal.
Can I share a secret with you? I've been thinking about having another accident and actually banning him from the show, because he knows so much about cigars that I feel threatened. I feel like my place as a cigar professor. And so if I just have an accident and accidentally slip when I'm trying to ban some spammer or something in the comments, then I could probably solve that problem for myself. I'm just sharing with you. Full disclosure, open,
The nuttiness for me has gone a little bit on the vegetative side. It's almost like a raw nut as opposed to a roasted nut. Don't know if you've ever had like fresh raw peanuts or sort of like almost a blanched almond that hasn't been toasted. It's sort of got that slight vegetiveness to it, but it's still nutty.
I was gonna go totally marzipan. Like this turn, I don't know where you guys at, but this turn, I'm a bit ahead of Damo, I think, but it's very marzipan-like. It's got almonds mixed into honey, sweet touch, spiciness coming through. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. Absolutely.
Mine seemed to transition pretty well for the
yeah.
So
well, all we did was light that little tiny little protrusion at the end, and the rest is just taking care of itself. Absolutely gorgeous. And I've got to say, I'm one of the people that has had issues with the wrappers on these before. I'm one of the people that, 2 years ago, I bought, I think, 10 of them, and probably 2 of them had split wrappers and things like that to them. But I've got to say, this is perfection. Wow. And if anything, I feel like actually the construction and the burn, the integration of the different tobaccos with each other has actually improved with time. And I have more confidence in this cigar now than what I did, 2 years ago.
I really don't remember the foot smoke being this floral, this perfume-like first time round. I mean, it was a beautiful, sweet aroma, but this aroma this time round, it's really
another level right now. It's another level right now.
Well, next week's our Christmas show too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Gee, that's come quick as well.
Yeah, super fast, man. Super fast. You can't believe.
It'll be interesting to see what another year on those Monty Whites has done.
One of my favorite Connecticut's of all time. One of my favorite Connecticut's. I'm really looking forward to them. Absolutely looking forward to them, Dames. Not gonna lie, dude.
So we've got some decent age on some of the sticks in this pack. So, yes, I mean, this pack is going to really give a good showcase to our subscribers what a bit of self-control.
Sorry, what was that? That's not something I'm familiar with. Again?
or at least stocking up with more than you would normally smoke. And
sorry, again, you're not making sense. Sorry, I think I don't know if it's breaking up.
I know I speak foreign languages at times.
Yeah, you're not making sense at all.
Best to read.
A lot of gibberish. Some weird kind of language.
Yeah, this is everything I hoped it would be and more, to be honest.
Mate, the other thing that I say that this is, to my knowledge, is one of the hardest Vitola to roll. The doenst, that takes the cake. That actually takes the cake. Very hard.
Second to a Lancero.
Yeah, Lanceros just have one skill set. It's been hard, but this has 2 ends on such a small cigar. When you have the longer, you get taper, but the smaller it is, it's that tests the roller. So very good, very good.
Just a little bit of sourness in there as well. Just a very soft, gentle sourness in there. Very soft.
I was going to say there's a tang as well that you can pass it for a tang, some sort of tang. I think almost like a squash, like part lemon, orange squash thing. It's just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
You know what I think it is? It's that flavor that you get when you've been out in the country, like the fresh country air for about 2 days, and you're hiking, not like wussy hiking, but like at least 20 or 30 meters a day, right? Like really grueling.
Yeah, proper.
Maybe 40 meters, okay? Like you're really pushing yourself.
Yeah.
And you get dehydrated. You know how you get dehydrated?
Yeah.
And then you spend the night in the freezing cold and you're looking forward to the morning. You light the campfire. You're going to boil the brew. But the first thing in the morning, you get up and you have to pee. And that pee has that really yellow color and that tang. I'm sure you're familiar with the flavor of what that pee tastes like. That's what I'm getting. That's what I'm getting in this cigar.
Of my pee or your own pee?
No, mine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, I'm not a freak.
Oh, sorry. What a stick. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Well, there you go. Sometimes this show is a bit of a pissing contest between which of us can be the most like highbrow and cheeky. I can't think of anything more highbrow than an asparagus flavor note. I mean, apart from maybe a black caviar or truffle
or asparagus infused pea, perhaps.
There you go. There you go. Udo, I wouldn't want you to have to go through that. Just put it in an envelope and send it to me, and I'll save you the trouble.
Wow.
I just can't get over that foot smoke. That is
beautiful. Beautiful. Absolutely.
This is one that you'd want to be in a room.
Yeah, man.
With other people smoking it and the getting that haze of foot smoke from.
Could you imagine, 20 of us sitting around inside a pub or a bar room or something like that, all with this cigar?
Or a man cave.
Yeah.
Oh, that is just gorgeous.
All right. Stuart's worried. Did he get his info to you fast enough, Damo?
He did. The email went out, I think, today. So just check your emails. Check in the spam folder, just in case it's gone to spam, because it comes from an online bookkeeping system. So sometimes it gets flagged as spam. If not, just reach out to us and we'll try and get it to you some other way.
Guys, I'm having a bit of trouble with a moist, tight drawer, so I'm going to cut I'm going to just recut slightly just to shave off a millimeter. I'm bringing this up to say I'm going to lose my ash, but it doesn't mean I've lost the ash challenge, okay? I'm just saying I'm sacrificing my ash. I didn't drop my ash. I didn't fail. I'm just...
See, if you had any skill, you'd cut and not lose your ash.
I'm making a tactical decision here about what's important.
Totally agree. The only thing I wasn't sure that by your speech, I'm figuring there is a hormonal change. So I'm not sure who had the baby. Was that you or someone else? Are you okay?
Listen, this is
really
important. This is really important concept with comedy. It's not something that I'd expect you to understand because obviously you've never been funny in your life.
It's not a male concept. Yeah.
But in comedy, you have to move on from one joke to another.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't 28 minutes and 59 seconds into the show still be banging on with the same joke that you started the show with, right? Just saying, a little bit of creativity.
The only problem is it's like all Dave Chappelle goes on about transgender thing, right? Sure. When I look at you,
you're not Dave Chappelle.
That target in front of me is such a beautiful target. You can't move up from that target.
But you're not Dave Chappelle. Go and make friends with Dave Chappelle. Get him on the show. And then you know what? I will give him free reign. He can hang as much shit on me as he wants because he's Dave fucking Chappelle and I'm not going to argue with him. Right?
Yeah. No, but I'm just trying to give you a metaphor that target that you provide is so beautiful to fuck with. It's just like...
You're right, Omar. I am beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since anybody really said that to me. You
are. Dude, one day you will become a man. I don't know if it will happen, but that's okay. That's a good start.
See, the thing about giving someone insults is that you have to be someone whose opinion they actually care about. Otherwise, the insult just kind of washes off.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's going to take you a long time. It's probably a 10-year project for you to get to the point where I actually give a shit what you think. But when you get there, after 10 years of hard labor and dedication and focus, eventually, maybe one of your insults will actually hurt.
The fact that I get you every time and you like, poor dude. Topher, it's okay, dude. I gotta pass you for M next to your name, male. It's okay.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Oh, hello, Daniel.
Well, Daniel, I believe you've got a spare room, so it's got an airbed in it, Omar. I hope you can deal with that.
Yep.
Well, Daniel's already invited us to his man cave, so
yeah,
next live Hereford, his place by the sounds of it.
Yeah, we're happy for that.
I'm getting notes of oak and leather coming through now.
Oh, that's right. We're a cigar show. I forgot about that. I was just too busy. I was too busy slinging mud.
Just segueing back into what we do.
Yeah.
Look, yeah, there's a lot of cedar in there. I think there's a bit of cedar. I don't know how far are you, James, but I think you're a little bit slow. I think you haven't transitioned.
Oh, guys, I've only burnt that much. I'm way slower than you guys.
Very.
Much more self-control.
Yeah, I know. How's the baby?
Baby's good. Baby's good. People have been asking me, is it a Topher or a Tofet? Well, I can tell you it's a Tofet.
Tofet.
So our oldest is a boy. We've had 2 girls since then. She was big, 4 kilos.
Cool.
Which is 8.6 pounds, 8.7 pounds. I don't know exactly what it is.
It's about eight or just over 8.5 pounds. Solid bub.
Decent sized baby. She's quite strong and she's already quite stubborn. So she takes after her mother, is what I'm saying. But no, mother and baby are well. This has actually gone better than either of the other 2 births. So we're grateful for that. No additional trauma to add to the existing trauma that I'm carrying from the other 2 babies. Which is nice. It's a nice change, to have one that's just nice and calm and relaxed and all good.
That's a good news. That's super good news.
That oak note's getting a little bit cedar-like for me now.
Yeah, I thought there was a bit of cedar there.
I'm already at about the halfway point, and I would say that it's really strengthening that kind of twist, the tang. It's almost developed that marmalade quality, that vinaigrette quality to it, just adding to that twist even more. It's very much a fruit rind marmalade of some sort in the aftertaste that I've got lingering on the tongue.
Cool.
Don't pretend you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the tang is actually becoming very pronounced. It's taking over the show almost.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Was leather there for a little while. I agree with the oak note, but now this has just come powering through.
Yeah. And I would say, despite all of that leatheriness, there's still a sweetness lingering after a second later. And that's what I'm really appreciating, that it's kind of had all the different flavors, but it's still coming up with that sweetness afterwards.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal, man. Damn.
All right. Well, long-time listener, first-time caller. What I'll get you to do, can you go to a URL? I'll type it into the comments here. So you can just click on it. It's streamyard.com/Facebook. Just go through the process there, because what you'll be doing is giving StreamYard permission to see the picture and the name on your Facebook profile. It can't do anything else. It can't post to your page and do anything like that. But that way, when you comment, you'll come up like these guys here, where we can see the name, we can see the photo, etc. So whoever you are, hello, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hello.
Nice to have you join us. We are smoking the Gurka Chairman Select. Now, this is a cigar that we smoked. I'm going to say this was the 3rd cigar that we smoked.
Yeah, probably. Something like that.
It was early in pack 1. And this is the exact same batch that has been in Professor Damien's tender loving care for the last 2 years. 2 years to the week, actually. Because if it was the third week, because we've skipped 2 weeks along the way, and this is the first week of the next pack. So it'll be 2 years ago to the week, and absolutely loving it. It was good. It was good 2 years ago, mind you, but absolutely loving this.
That tang's got a bit sharper for me now.
It's actually eased right off all of a sudden for me. I've gone through it. I'm a bit ahead of you guys, I'm pretty sure. And I reckon I've gone through it. It just became this really, really overpowering tang to the point that if it had gotten any stronger, it would have started to become unpleasant. That's the comparison there. But it's just eased right off. It's almost gone. And now I'm left with I'm almost back to that sort of cacao coffee that we had early on. Correct. Well, it's more accurate to say that 2 years have passed. This is the same batch that we bought. We bought a bunch of extras. These ones, 2 years have passed, and these have been in Damien's care all that time. So these have been aged an extra 2 years. We've had them. The Cigar Professor has had them in our possession for 2.5 years, these exact sticks. So that's what we're enjoying tonight.
Yes, beautiful.
Here's a good question, Simon. You wouldn't have the boxes handy. In fact, the boxes might be long gone.
Some of the cigars that we purchased, particularly these ones, I save on the cost of getting the cigars by actually buying them loose instead of in the box. Also cuts down on shipping weight. Yeah. So some of the wholesalers that I deal with actually supply very small brick and mortar stores in the States. And a lot of those smaller stores want to keep a few different cigars in stock, but don't want to have whole boxes of every single cigar. Yes. And so a lot of the wholesalers, well, I won't say a lot, but quite a few of the wholesalers will actually sell certain cigars loose. And this was one of the ones that we did buy loose. But I would estimate that these would have been made within the 12 months prior to me purchasing them. Just based on the dates that I see on when I do buy boxes. Sometimes I will buy boxes because I know that people will want to buy either a box office or we have some of our subscribers that like getting the boxes from us, and so ones that have nice boxes, I'll make the effort to get a few boxes in as well. Every box that we've ever bought over the last few years has always had around about a 6 to 12 month manufacture time, excluding some of the more prestigious ones like, the Perdomo limited edition Cameroons, which were dated 2005, 2006. So other ones that have been made in specific years. So,
yeah.
But most of the non-Cubans don't have the dates on the box. Some do, but I've seen a lot of them that don't write dates on the boxes either.
Well, Daniel's saying starting to get a cacao and cedar note, still a lingering sweetness. I've definitely found that the cacao, even a slight coffee, has definitely come back in now that I'm past the halfway point. It's definitely come back in. There's a question here. Was it a bit grassy? Were they a bit grassy in the first round? From my memory, Simon, they weren't at all.
No, they were not.
They already were sophisticated mid-bodied cigars.
Yeah,
remarkably complex. I am not. Let me be clear. I'm not a Gurka fanboy. I'm not one of those people.
We know that.
Oh, smoke Gurka, blah blah blah. No, I'm not.
Yeah.
And I was actually skeptical when Damo said, "This cigar is amazing. Try it. Do you want to put this in a pack?" And I tried it, and I went, "Yeah, I want to put that in a pack. It's a fantastic cigar." So we're assuming that they were under a year old at the time. We're not 100% sure, but we're assuming they were under a year old at the time. But they were already very much ready to smoke. Good luck, Stuart. Good luck. Yeah, this is good. Question is it better than it was 2 years ago?
Yes, I like
You
it
reckon?
more. Yep,
I think
I
so.
like it more. Most certainly, most certainly.
It seems a bit more complex to me than it was from what I remember.
You just took the words out of my mouth. 100%. Definitely more complex. Definitely more complex.
And what you'll probably find is if you aged more of these with different inventory in your humidor, you'll probably get a different result. It will be very similar, but it will never be the same.
What if you don't have inventory?
Damo,
Yeah.
why don't you buy yourself a 50 cab of these and distribute them amongst the humidor and put them in with different things, and buy me a 50 cab and I'll keep it just alone as itself as a 50 cab.
Yeah.
And then we'll compare the results. And
No,
obviously,
I will smoke both of them.
I'll do quality control over 1 a week for 50 weeks. Okay. Just to see how mine change over time.
No, I will smoke them all in a given time.
No, look, we need someone whose palate hasn't been burnt to shit.
You do know there is one flaw in that logic, though. You'd need to be smoking all of mine as well to compare them.
No. I'll just tell you, because I'm always right, obviously. I mean, it goes without saying, really. I feel stupid that I even said it. Now, the ash is quite flaky. It's kind of, the actual ash is falling away from the edges, which I find interesting. I don't remember that from last time.
I got a little bit flaking on one side.
You lost some ash too.
But not much.
Yeah. Yeah, roger that, Stuart. That's affirmative, dude.
So our new friend, who remains nameless, is in Brisbane. I buy from Sam Smokes on Adelaide Street. The index is nice, but Sam's annoyed with them because they have a 280-degree showroom, which in Queensland is against the law. How dumb that we've got all these ridiculous laws. It just annoys me so much. I'm not wearing the right shirt tonight. I should be wearing my Good People Break Bad Laws shirt. Simon reckons he could have a pretty good crack at who our mystery friend is.
There's another note in there that I can't quite pick at the moment. And it's an extension off the back end of the coffee flavor. So you get the coffee flavor and you think, oh, it's going to be coffee, and then it sort of mutates into another flavor that I can't quite pick.
Well, we're gonna call our lovely new Facebook friend no one, because apparently that's who it is. Just like me. Yep, 100%.
Damn. It's getting better and better, man. It's beautiful. Where about you, Topher?
More rings in the cigar up with age as well.
So we're at about the same point, Omar. And I'm loving this, but I would put it about on a par with last time. It's different to last time. There's no doubt there's been evolution. There's been change. I think the flavor profile has deepened. I think it's integrated a little bit more. I think it has become a bit more complex. I think you're both right about that. But I really enjoyed this cigar the first time out, and I'm really enjoying it again now. And I don't think I'd be able to separate the two.
I think it's very hard for all of us to remember what happened 2.5, 3 years ago exactly. And we only have like a basic memory of what happened. And the only thing I remember, what Damo said as well, it is more complex. I love the first smoke. I won't say this is, what we're better, but because we're smoking it now and it's a bit more complex, we're like, oh my God, what we missed it. Beautiful. Regardless.
All right, Omar, all your dreams are about to come true. You've got 2 minutes to talk shit about me. I'll be back in a sec.
Yay.
Hey, what a pleasant surprise. He's gone. The guy need to be sacked out of Cigar Professor.
Well, I haven't, but Omar is renowned for having multiple cigars on the go at the same time. I called past his shop the other day, and he wasn't there. He was, I don't know where he was, but out the front there was a whole pile of cigars, and he was downing them with cookies and muffins. So if anyone's done side by side comparison of cigars, Omar's the man to definitely the one to answer that question.
I know, dude. Yeah. I wouldn't mind doing side by side.
Look, from memory, Daniel, I do believe that they do produce these in one other Vitola, which is a bit bigger. I'm not sure. I think it might be. I think it's a little bit bigger than Robusto, but not quite Toro sized.
Yeah.
In this particular blend.
Yeah, that's
right.
But
the interesting thing is too, you see, a lot of people think that when certain brands like Perdomo, for instance,
yeah,
when you actually buy a particular cigar,
yes,
and get it in different Vitolas,
yes,
it is the same, effectively the same blend. They actually do vary the blend in the different Vitolas, but they're trying to keep a very similar or very consistent flavor profile across that whole range in the different sizes. And the different sizes are just effectively different durations of smoking. Other companies, however, like Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust, totally different blends in every single stick.
yeah.
So you see a particular stick that you like and you get it in a different size. The different sizes a totally different blend because he's not interested in keeping the same flavor in every stick. What he's trying to do is come up with a stick in that size, loosely based on a particular blend, but just bringing out the best flavors he can pack into that size stick. So I can't say I know a lot about Gurkha because Gurkha don't produce their own from memory. Gurkha outsource their manufacturing to a handful of different companies. And so the larger size might not even necessarily be made by that same company. Gurkha are a little bit secretive in what they do. So,
Tim, that's deeply offensive. I said at the start of the show that I identify as a male today. You have to
today.
Respect that.
Sorry. Yeah.
You have to respect that.
Yeah, today.
Right. Crisis averted, problem solved. I'm back whether you like it or not.
that note that I was finding off the back end of the coffee flavor is almost, I'm not saying it is, but it's sort of reminding me of a root vegetable a little bit. Sort of a little vegetative but earthy, dare I say, a little bit on the starchy side of tasting. Now, I am, I'm really trying to pick up very subtle nuances here, but that's just what I'm getting out of the cigar at the moment.
Subtle isn't what we're known for, any of us.
Never.
No. Well, I've got to agree with Daniel. My only real disappointment with this cigar is that it is quite short. And whilst it does give you a good burn time for its size, it still is only an hour and a bit cigar, which is great for its size. But it's a flavor profile that I could enjoy for an hour and a half.
Yes. Seriously, it's amazing.
Excellent. Wonderful. Okay, guys, when the day comes, which you may have already been having these conversations behind my back, but when the day comes that you're talking about replacing me with Simon, because he's clearly much more suited to the job, just remember this. He fucked up his own cigar, okay? Now, I know I've done that like a dozen times on the show, but he's done it, okay? So he's not
Well,
better
that makes him perfectly qualified for just a drop-in replacement.
No, he's not better. It's a sideways move, guys. Don't just better the devil you know, okay? That's all I'm saying.
All right, so Aaron it is.
I can't win, can I? I always thought that was cucumbers, but you know, I don't have any practical experience, so I really can't comment.
Still got that coffee note going for me. The leather has died down on the initial tasting of the smoke, but once you've exhaled the smoke, there is still a bit of that leather.
I'm gonna start using the perfect draw now because it's going to be
because you're leaning a little to the left.
Yeah, burning me.
I'll tell you what, I've been hanging out with the father-in-law the last week because with the baby coming, we've all moved there just so that Edwina's got a bit more support when she brings the baby home. She's still in the hospital now, but she'll be home soon. And I've enjoyed having a cigar or two with him over the last couple of nights, and you know, celebrating the arrival of the baby, all that sort of stuff. Well, the rotten sod has got a collection of pipes with different sized bowls. And so it doesn't matter what cigar we're smoking, he's got the perfect pipe to just pop the nub into and finish it off. And I am sitting there green with envy because we've had some really good cigars. We had a cigar that Damo was kind enough to let me buy out of his personal collection, a Fuente Opus X Angel Share, which was magnificent. And I gave one to my dad, and I had one. This was the night that the new baby was born. We were celebrating the birth of the new baby. Magnificent cigar. I spiked it with the perfect draw, and I'm burning it all the way down to my lips are on fire. He just pops his in the pipe.
Oh, damn.
Just so unfair.
If you remember back to, I think it was pack 1 or possibly pack 2, I think I posted a link in the comments. I don't know if I haven't seen them advertised for sale, so I don't know if they're available anymore. But there was a metal pipe that was made in America, and the bowl of the pipe was actually a taper, and it had a thread cut in it. And so the idea was that you actually stick your nub in, and you'd actually twist it so that it would bite in to create the perfect seal.
That's what I need.
And you could get, you know, it was suitable for a range of sizes, not just one size.
Yes, that's awesome. That's what I need. Yeah, Andrew, you should apologize for coming back. No, I'm being mean. Welcome. You're too new for me to hang shit on you yet. Once you've come a few weeks in a row, then I can hang shit on you, but not the first week.
It's almost like a charred cedar note that I'm getting in there too. So it's not just a clean cedar; it's just got that sort of charred note to it as well.
Yeah,
it's getting hard.
Been away from the house for a few days, and some bugs and mozzies have crept their way in my absence.
Lack of some smoke to keep them out, eh?
Yeah.
Look, the one thing I learned when I was in Darwin, well, actually, I wasn't in Darwin. I was a couple of hours out of Darwin. Insect repellent repels everything but flies.
Huh.
But with a lot of time to kill and being totally bored out of my brains, I did partake in a cigar most days. And when the flies got really bad in the afternoon, I actually discovered that smoking a cigar was really good at keeping away flies. Flies really do not like cigar smoke. And what would end up happening is a few of the guys that I was with would always end up relocating their chairs downwind from me. Not because they like the smell of the cigars, but the fact that downwind there was absolutely no bloody flies. So.
Hey, if it works, it ain't stupid.
That's
Yeah.
right. So, new use for cigars.
There you
Hey, there
go.
we go. Wonder if we could import them and say that they're like like insect repellents, incense sticks instead.
I reckon instead of burning those curly things that stink,
Mm.
burn one of these. There you go. Simon corroborates the story. He says, I used to smoke white ox roll-your-owns when I was in the territory, and once it got into your bloodstream, the flies left you alone with a 10-foot barge pole. There you go. I didn't know.
Well, one of the other guys in the group was actually a smoker, and he always used to go away and smoke, and I was like, no, please, just stay near me. It's not that I wanted the smoke, but it just meant that I didn't have to smoke to keep the flies off me all the time. So, and he was smoking a lot more.
Omar doesn't understand the issue. He's never had a problem with flies in his life.
No.
No, I don't remember having an issue with flies. It's been a long time.
I don't know if that's quite the comment you want to be making about Omar, though, that there's no flies on Omar.
Yeah, well. Do you have a fancy travel case, Damo?
So my fancy travel case is about a lunchbox sized knockoff. I think it's a knockoff Pelican from Total Tools. It was either from Total Tools or Bunnings. I took the bigger than that though. So it's probably nearly 3 times the depth, probably about as long. And so I've imagined 3 of them high and maybe just a little bit wider depth wise. I put my cigars in there and I throw a couple of Bovida packs in there. No problems in keeping it. I like it because I can throw it in my check-in or my carry-on, not be concerned about cigars getting crushed or banged or squashed, and it keeps them all safe. But the trick is that I learned to keep that fairly full of cigars so they don't get too knocked around. And also, so I've always got a selection for whatever mood I'm in. So,
well, this thing here, I didn't really fully appreciate just how clever it is. It's got the grooves for putting cigars into down here. It doesn't hold a huge number of cigars. I wish it was just a little bit longer and you could put 2 cigars end to end, but it's not quite long enough to do that with Robustos. But it's a clever piece of kit, and I didn't really fully appreciate it until, excuse me, I was using this whilst traveling. We took off, if my memory serves me, we took off from Denver, which is a relatively high altitude city, and we landed somewhere at sea level. I think we were heading for Florida, and I couldn't get this case open. I unclipped it, and I went to try and pull the lid open, and I couldn't open it. It was stuck. It was sealed shut, and it's got this little wheel on the front. And I just, out of desperation, I didn't know what it did. I just started to unwind it, and I heard this psst sound. And what I realized was, of course, Denver, being high altitude, was low air pressure. And so I'd closed it in Denver and sealed in low air pressure and then landed in Florida. And it's so airtight that it actually sealed itself shut. And they've literally anticipated that and put that in the front so that you can equalize the pressure so you can open the damn thing. And that was when I went, okay, this is actually a good, this isn't just some random piece of plastic.
The Pelican cases used to have that on the front of them, but what Pelican have actually done now is the lift-up flaps that lock it down actually got a little hinge leverage mechanism on them, so it actually breaks the seal for you as you lift them up now. It's still got the air valve on it, but it lets air pressure out but not back in. And one of the reasons I do like those cases is that a lot of people don't appreciate, when you're flying, particularly if you're flying for quite a few hours, you become quite dehydrated. And your cigars become quite dehydrated as well. So it basically keeps that humidity in the case stable. They're an airtight container. They're watertight. You can, you just know that if your luggage gets throttled by the baggage handlers and left out on the tarmac in the wet, all your clothes might be drenched and ruined, but at least your cigars are fine. So
you've got the important things covered.
Exactly. You can dry out your underwear, but you can't dry out your cigars.
No. How can you carry so many on a plane? Well, if you're flying domestically, you can carry as many as you want. And if you're flying around America, they don't care. You can carry as many as you want. It's only when you're flying into Australia with cigars that all of a sudden it matters because of our stupid taxes.
Look, if you're flying to America, I wouldn't even bother taking cigars with you. Just stock up while you're there. You'll save yourself a fortune.
Yeah, 100%. Well, don't stock up and try and bring them back. That'll cost you a fortune. The tax on the cigars will be 3 times what the cigars actually cost you.
Yeah.
And the rest.
Well, my burn's gone a bit wonky on me right towards the end here.
Yeah, same.
Almost a bit late to kind of touch it up, but I'm going to spike it because the flavors are still lovely. So I'm going to spike it on the side with more to burn and keep enjoying it because it is lovely.
Well, I don't need to spike it yet, but I don't feel like being left out.
I gotta spike it, dude.
Yeah, it gets a bit warm.
Yeah.
I am noticing a little bit of nicotine out of it tonight. Yeah, we know you and nicotine, Omar.
Well, hang on. Let's mark today in our calendar because for the first time ever, I'm actually agreeing with Omar. I've not detected any nicotine in this thus far.
Yeah, that's not late. It's like a little pinky finger cigar. Relax.
Well, look, since David doesn't seem to be with us tonight, I thought I'd better fill that void, you know.
And be our canary in the coal mine.
Yeah.
Mate, if you were a canary in a coal mine, they'd be evacuating the coal mine every 5 minutes, mate. It's just, you know, it's embarrassing. A couple of good rings in this cigar as well. I do appreciate it when they roll a few rings in.
Well, actually, I would say that we've aged those rings in.
Oh, yeah. You're claiming the credit.
Yeah.
Well, you might be right, actually, because those Damo-infused Perdomo 10th anniversary Purito things that you infused, they had a lot of rings in them. So to Helium, you may not have got the memo. We're moving to a Wednesday. Fridays made sense during lockdowns and all the rest of it because, let's be honest, no one was going anywhere else. But now that all that's kind of behind us, it seemed like the general consensus was to moving to a hump day smoke rather than an end of week smoke would be a bit better. So it'll take a little while for people to find us here at the new time, but hopefully it'll prove to be a forward step, and we'll end up with perhaps more people joining us and joining in. This is right now, right at the nub. This is very reminiscent of what I remember of this cigar from 2 years ago. Lovely. You were mentioning charcoal earlier, I think, Damo. I agree. It's sort of this lovely
Charred.
It's like you take all the things that you love in a good cigar, a bit of nuttiness, a bit of baked goods, a bit of spice, a bit of that sort of stuff. And then you just sort of flame grill it briefly. You don't char the crap out of it. You just smoke it a little bit. Yeah. And that's what I'm getting right now. And it's just absolutely lovely.
Even that foot smoke has got that little bit of a charriness to it as well. A little bit of that wood fire note coming through.
Whew. So good.
Yeah. If this was representative of all Gurkhas, I would be a Gurkha fanboy. But Gurkha is one of those brands you've got to take each cigar on its own merit.
That's right.
And one of the things with Gurkha is that they do use multiple manufacturing facilities for manufacturing their cigars. They're not their own manufacturer. So the different cigars are coming from different manufacturers.
I would say that the Grand Age series, which is 12 and 18 years for men, are quite nice. They are a little bit premium, but they are quite nice. 12 and 18-year grand age. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're quite good.
So Stuart, no, when I say spike, it is just the perfect draw that I'm just using as a spike. That's all it is. It's a wonderfully versatile tool. Simon, they do make some of the most expensive cigars in the world, but are they actually worth that, or is that just marketing with 12 or 24 karat gold boxes?
Yeah.
They did have that one that they actually put 24 karat gold leaf on, and I think they even had like a little precious gem in the wrapper.
Yeah.
And that was like, I think it's like $700 or thereabouts for a US for a single stick.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's clever marketing, but they're not worth what they try and charge. I mean, Simon's got good memory here. I do remember this. Read some BS the other day about them making $1 million cigar where they would send the roller out to you first class to roll the smoke in front of you. Like they're clever at marketing.
Yeah, I think it just works.
Even if no one ever buys it, the fact that they're offering that gets them news coverage.
Yeah,
and I think it's places in kind of like Middle East and all that. It's a kind of whack to do so.
Yeah, there are people that would spend that money in the Middle East. Yeah.
Well, I guess when you've got that much money and $1 million is like $100 to you and me, and you feel like splurging on something nice for $100, and for them the equivalent relative is $1 million, then.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, these are people that buy the most expensive cars in the world and then get them gold plated because they're not unique enough. Their cousin already has one of the same car, so they have to do something to make it different. And if you're having your friends over for a dinner party or something, being able to say, "Oh yes, I've spent $1 million. A cigar roller is joining us tonight to roll me a $1 million cigar." It's the kind of pissing contest that they seem to get into.
Definitely.
All right. So Stuart's asking, what do we think of Cohiba? Well, the first question is which Cohiba, the Cuban Cohiba or the non, the genuine or the fake? There's a lot of when you say Cohiba,
or the legitimate, genuine Cohibas that are non-Cuban Cohibas.
No, that's what I mean. So the Cuban, the non-Cuban, or the fake. There are 3 different Cohibas out there.
Yes.
Look, I've enjoyed some non-Cuban Cohibas. I've enjoyed some Cuban Cohibas, although they do still have that Cuban inconsistency in the construction quality. Overall, I don't think they're worth the premium that you pay for the name.
Probably the worst cigar I've ever smoked in my life was a Cohiba. And I'm pretty certain it was one of the limited edition Cohibas that Whiskey Pete gave me.
Okay. So in that case, it was genuine then?
Yeah, it was from the... he got it through the authorized Habanos distributor, so it come through official channels. And I was out middle of nowhere Gyra camping with friends, and I didn't have a perfect draw at the time. And I've never had a cigar as plugged in my life as that.
Yeah, wow.
Nothing I could do, massaging it, rolling it, cutting it shorter, recutting the thing. I just couldn't get it to draw. I really felt like I was trying to suck a lump of clay up a straw. That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
I got so frustrated with it. I battled with it for about 30 minutes, as you would when you knew it was a $300 cigar. And in the end, I knew it was not going to go anywhere, and I wasn't going to put it back in my box part burnt and ruin all my other cigars. It went in the bonfire.
Yeah, that's a tragedy. Yeah. No, look, we've had a non-Cuban Cohiba. In fact, we had a Cuban Cohiba in pack number 2, our Cuban pack. And from memory, that was the one that we actually had genuine mold issues with. It was the one that came in the box, the little cardboard box.
That's the one.
It's the only cigar that we've ever had mold issues with on the Cigar Professor, and it was a Cohiba. And I've certainly had Cuban Cohibas.
And that was the one we sent off for lab testing.
Yep. And we had it confirmed from a laboratory, definitely mold, not plume, no matter what others may say. But then I've had some lovely Cohibas. But for you, Stuart, as a relatively new cigar smoker, I wouldn't spend the money, and I would not risk a Cohiba from a corner store. You know, don't go to your local tobacconist and buy a Cohiba, because the chances of that being the real thing are pretty slim.
Yes.
And let alone being stored properly from a corner store as well.
Yeah, let alone be looked after. Yeah.
Mind you, the Cohiba White that we had a few packs ago, that was phenomenal.
That was a good stick. Yeah.
That was absolutely phenomenal.
But that was a non-Cuban Cohiba. And it's funny because in the cigar world, there's this, you know, people think Cuban must be better. Okay, well, those who know cigars know that they've got a distinct flavor profile. They've got a unique character. And if you really love that character, then okay, fair enough. But overall, they're actually inferior cigars to a well-made non-Cuban in terms of your overall smoking experience and the build quality, etc. But there's this special level of disdain for these brands that have a Cuban brand, like a Cohiba or Romeo and Juliet, that then also have the non-Cuban brand of the same name. There's this real, disdain for them. And I saw this when we launched our very first pack. We had one or two cigars that shared a name with a Cuban brand. And there were people getting in touch with us saying, oh, I had a look, I was thinking about joining, and then I saw that you had they were calling them the fake Cubans. And I'm like, well, I mean, there are fake Cubans. That's a real problem. That's a real thing. But these are genuine. They are what they are, made in Central America, grown in, wherever they may be, depending on the cigar. And some of them are really, really good sticks.
Definitely.
And the companies that sell them legitimately have the legal trademark to sell them as Cohibas. I think what people need to realize is the fake Cohibas are the ones that are made elsewhere and have been deliberately branded and labeled as if they are the Cuban Cohibas and being tried to be sold as a Cuban Cohiba when they're absolutely not.
Yeah. Well, where it happens most commonly is where you'll get a mate that comes back who they've been to Cuba and they did a tour of the factories. And while they were there, someone said, I've got a cousin that works at the Cohiba factory. I can get you a really cheap box of these really expensive Cohibas. And what it is, of course, is all of the offcuts and all of the bits and pieces that didn't make the grade that they sneak out of the factory and they roll at night. And if they can steal a 100 or a couple of thousand of the bands, sneak them out of the factory over time, then now they've got real bands that they can put onto sticks that, some guys, you'll see videos on the internet, people cutting open some of these suspect cigars and they'll find human hairs in them, like literally they're floor sweepings in some cases.
The best thing I found in a Cuban cigar is actually a bristle off a brush, like a sweep up brush. They've obviously been sweeping up the stuff off the floor. Bristle of the brush has come out and it's made its way into the fill that's been rolled into the cigar. And I'm like, this tastes a bit funky. And then you pull this length of nylon blue bristle out of your cigar.
Yeah. Yeah. That's when we talk about fake Cubans, that's what a fake Cuban is. A legitimately branded non-Cuban cigar that has the right to use a name that is also a Cuban brand is a legitimate brand. It's just not a Cuban. I've had to put mine down, guys. It got too short on me.
Yeah, I'm
There's
struggling.
Definitely a molasses. No, maybe a little bit deeper than that. Probably more treacle, like that sort of that deep, rich, bitter treacle flavor coming through on this for me at the moment, which is quite nice.
Yeah, I think I have to put it down as well now.
Well, that's good timing, Omar, because your mate just showed up on YouTube again. So you can go and find your perfect match, and that'll keep you busy for the rest of the night.
Still got that floral note, that sweet floral note still there in the foot smoke as well, which is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great cigar, and it's such a shame in a sense that it's associated with the Gurkha name, which is such a hit and miss brand, because if this was released by Perdomo as part of their what do they call that Vitola, the 5-pack Vitola, the Star something,
You mean the
Morning Star.
Ave Maria, the Morning Star pack?
Sorry, Ave Maria Morning Stars. If this exact cigar was in there as one of the Ave Maria Morning Stars, you'd be sitting there going, "This is the pick of the bunch. This is a fantastic cigar." But because it's got the Gurkha name on it, a lot of people just go, "Oh no, Gurkha," and they never discover it. They never find out.
Definitely.
Well, seems like the baby and my wife might be coming home tomorrow, all going well.
Cool. Good news.
If necessary, she might stay in one more night, but she's been in the hospital since Monday, so she's a bit over it, which you can understand.
Especially hospital food.
Well, yeah, hospital food, and the nurses have been lovely, but they're busy, and I don't know if you know what's going on down here with the hospital system down here, but it's rooted. It's just rooted. Nurses working double shifts at least once a week, if not a couple of times a week, working double shifts just to try and cover and maintain a minimum standard of care. And they're doing a really great job, but it's an awful situation that the healthcare system's in down here, and it shows. Despite their best efforts, it shows. And so she'll be pretty keen to come home, I think. But then she's in my tender loving care, which isn't going to be any better. So out of the frying pan into the fire.
Well, this cigar has done what the test ones when we first tested these did. It's held the ash on right down to the nub.
Yeah.
Yeah, no comment.
Yeah, I did. And actually, your top of your cigar ash has been missing. But this mine, if you look at my one, it has a perfect ash. Mm-hmm. It's perfect. The one side is missing, but this is perfect. Even from the very top.
I haven't dropped any ash yet. Literally, haven't dropped any ash yet.
It looks like the side, if you look at the top right side, it's a bit wonk.
It looks like it. It's just gone a little bit wonky, but I've got no ash dropped yet. So
yeah, mine's not quite as pretty.
Look at that. How perfect is this?
Yeah. Yeah, mine didn't quite hold up as well as that. Stuart makes a good point here that obviously your cigars aren't Jewish.
Thank you, Stuart.
Daniel, we do have a name, but we're going to give it one more day to actually settle on it for certain before we announce what it is. But yes, our little girl does have a name. It took some toing and froing, and we had a short list of 3 names, and we kept changing our minds as to which of the 3 best suited her. She's a redhead, which is hasn't come out in our family. This is 3. Yeah, so we've got redheads if you go back 2 generations on my wife's side, from my wife, so her grandmother, and it hasn't come out since. And then she's quite distinctly a redhead, blue eyes, and we were tossing up different names, and one of the names Edwina liked because it was the name of someone who was quite well known in the fashion industry in Australia and in textiles and so forth. And then we discovered that particular individual, when we Googled her, was murdered in Sydney. And we were like, I don't know, maybe we don't want that name after all. I don't know. But no, look, we've settled on a name, I think, but we'll sleep on it one more night before we
give her a Celtic name if she's redhead, blue eyes.
Yeah, well, she's the funny thing is she's actually got the darkest skin out of anyone in the family, and she's literally just come out of the womb. She hasn't seen any sunshine at all, and she's got quite a distinct sort of olive tone to her, whereas the oldest 2 were both white hair, not even blonde, like just white hair when they were born, and then super pale skin. So she's obviously, there's a very different set of genes expressing themselves.
Milkman's not a dark-skinned fellow, is he?
Sorry?
Your milkman isn't dark skinned, is he?
No. The baby's not that dark. I'm not worried. Stuart's mind went to the same place. No. It's gene expression from within the family.
But that's what they say usually.
That's what
Gene
they say.
expression.
Yeah, gene expression. That's right. That's what I'll tell myself for the rest of my life. No, she's cute. Everyone thinks their baby's cute, but she's cute.
She's very.
So I'll put some photos up online. I don't know, in a couple of days' time or something. Once we've made sure that we've told everybody.
Mine's just starting to turn on me. So I think that might be the point where I need to.
Yeah.
So
I'm at that point now where I know it's just not going to. The flavor's not going anywhere good from this point onwards. So what's that? Hour 10? Hour 15?
Yeah.
Oh, you were an hour 15. Yeah, I was an hour 10.
And the ash has held on.
Yeah. So you're gonna leave
How
it.
good is that? Beautiful.
Yeah. Rub it in.
Yeah, Tony reckons I've got dark skin. That's good. We know that. Obvious as daylight.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why we don't live in Sydney.
Well, there we go.
Nah.
Excellent. Well, next week we'll be going back down memory lane again for this very same batch of Monte Cristo Whites for our third Christmas show in a row. And you two, make sure you've got the presents I sent you wrapped up with you so that you can unwrap them live on the show.
Will do.
He works in explosives, people.
Don't hit it too hard.
And he sent me an unmarked package and said, make sure you're live online when you open this. And I just, just saying, we'll see.
We'll see. Oh, man.
Stuart's brain went in a different direction. It's a bit short for that, mate. It's, need to be at least twice that long. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Well, age definitely did that cigar well.
Yeah,
not argue. I've actually got a very pleasant floral aftertaste in that smoke still too, which is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, that's one of those cigars that I'll be enjoying the aroma in the room and the lingering aftertaste for a very, very long time. That was a lovely cigar. We talk about cigars where you smoke them and you're like, yes, I've had a cigar. Like, it has that satisfying kind of effect. And despite not being huge, it was a very, very satisfying cigar.
Absolutely. All right. Well, will you be with us next week or to be determined?
Should be. Yeah, no, I should be with you from now on. It was tonight that was the one that was in doubt, and I've managed to make it work. So I couldn't let you enjoy a show without me too frequently. Otherwise, you might start to get ideas. So I didn't want to take that risk.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Glad you're thinking of us. Well, that being said, we'll sign off and thank you for joining us. And for everyone who's joined in tonight, thank you for joining us. And next week, Wednesday, tune in to see what the boys have got from me for Christmas.
All right. Signing out.
All right. See ya.
See ya.